My people, welcome back. This week it's been a little choppy. I've seen the comments. I'm sorry. There's a few videos I posted that they just were not going through for the life of me. I was trying to get them. I was censoring words. I was fucking cutting out cuss words like I just did just now. But I finally got back on schedule. So, anyways, we're back. Today I'm gonna drop two videos, so make sure you guys go ahead and check out the Ruby Frankie video I just dropped. She finally got sentenced by the court, and I know that she says that she deserves the sentence, but the little speech she gives toward the end makes me feel like she's begging for sympathy, for some type of, to cut her jail sentence somehow. Like, oh, she's changed. She saw the light. But anyway, that's for that video. Go check it out. Um, we got Darrell Brooks right here, and he's cross-examining one of the fathers. Now, if you recall, this video we did, it was a couple days ago. It was the mother at an intersection where one of her kids got hit. Now, this is one of the fathers that was close by, literally in the same crowd of people, but he was a little bit behind her. So we're gonna go ahead and check this out, and yeah, grab the shit y'all need, man. Let's chill out. Let's check this shit out.
Daniel Knapp.
All right, Mr. Knapp, if you would please make your way to the witness stand, which is to my right, up one riser. When you get there, please remain standing, raise your right hand, and my clerk, Teresa, who's to my left, will swear you in.
Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you, sir. Please have a seat. First thing I will ask that you do is to state your first and last names for the record, and then spell each.
Daniel Knapp, Daniel, Knapp, Knapp.
Go ahead, your witness.
Thank you. Morning, sir.
Morning.
I can direct your attention to November 21st of 2021. Were you at the Waukesha Christmas parade on that date?
I was.
Who were you with?
I was with my family, my wife, and 3 children, as well as 3 other families. There's a group of 19 of us.
And by chance, were you with I'm sorry, Your Honor. Yes, thank you. Ed Harris?
Yes.
And did Matt have his...
Hold on, overruled.
Sorry.
The question and answer will stand.
You guys probably didn't hear. He said objection, leading the witness. Bro, this is question number 1. Asking who the fuck he was with. How's that like? That's you can't ask anything in his book. You might as well just be silent. Don't even prosecute. Just sit there and look at him, because everything's an objection for this guy.
Sir, how old are you kids?
My kids at the time of the parade were 11, 7, and 3.
Where were you seated for the parade?
My family was in front of the Steaming Cup, so that would be on the northeast corner of Main and Clinton Street.
And I said seated, but I guess were you standing, or where were you on that corner?
Yeah, so I was behind the group of, we had 12 children that were lined up across the street, or on the side of the street, waiting to receive candy. I was behind the children, so closer to the Steaming Cup.
Was that the same general location as the other parents?
That is correct, yes. My wife, Stephanie, was with my daughter, Kelsey, going in and...
Just want to point it out. The last witness, she said the same thing. They were by the Steaming Cup. So that's like a little coffee shop. When they start to show pictures, you're going to recognize it from my last video. But it's a little coffee shop, and everybody who was in that area kind of refers to that general location as to where they were. So she was one of those people in that group.
Out of the Steaming Cup, given it was a little chilly that day, and my daughter was a little cold, so she would go in and out of the Steaming Cup. So she was a little further to the west than I was, but we were all in the general direction.
Okay. And how old is Kelsey?
Kelsey, at the time of the incident, was 3. Today she's 4.
Okay. Now, at some point, did you hear anything unusual during the parade?
Yeah, so in watching the parade, a lot of circumstance pomp, bands and noises, but then all of a sudden the noises changed to what I would describe as sounds of screaming, and at the time when that occurred, the direction kind of turned from facing the parade down to the east, looking down Main Street.
So as you're facing the parade, would east be to your left? Or to your
That
right?
is correct, to my left.
So to your left. And when you said screaming, you said this is a parade. I'm assuming that there are kids and adults screaming and yelling. What was different about the screaming that you heard?
In my recollection, there is a difference between laughing and having a joyful time compared to screaming out of fear, terror. It was just a noticeable difference.
And the screaming that you heard out of fear or terror, that was the screaming that you heard when you looked left?
That is correct.
What did you see?
So what I saw when I looked left was there was a SUV pulling a float that was down to our left side that had not got to the position that we were at, and all of a sudden a car, red SUV, pulled around that float and headed directly in our direction.
You said a red SUV. Did you notice anything unusual about it as the car came at you?
Other than obviously a car coming at us during a parade was something that was very unexpected. And as it got closer, as I mentioned, it was coming at maybe a northwest direction as it past the SUV coming directly at our location, and
it's like the SUV in front of him is parting traffic. So the way that he's swerving out of the way of the truck that's in front of him and going around, it's like, yeah, nah, we don't give a fuck about any of these people. It's time to start running people over. That's crazy.
in terms of anything else, at that point, no.
I'm going to show.
I'd say it was weird that it wasn't carrying a float, just an SUV in a parade, just driving along, no float connected, just, and please.
Ask the court to publish Exhibit 51. It will show up in front of your screen.
Go ahead.
First of all, sir, is this, does this area look familiar to you?
It does.
And where's the steaming cup?
The steaming cup would be the building I'm circling right now.
Yep. Okay.
See, it's the same location. I'm going to put an arrow right here. That's where that lady was with her kids. So this whole area got affected. There's kids lined up around this corner. Now, the question is, was he doing it on purpose, or because some people, they argue that he was just trying to get through the parade, and like if he ran over people, hurt people, like it didn't matter, he's getting through the parade. But then other people are saying he was actually trying to just hit as much people as possible. I don't know. I feel like it might be the second option, because how are you really going to hit people on the curb when you could just be going through the street? It's like you're trying to hit the kids or something. So you guys let me know what you think.
And where were you seated or standing approximately?
Yeah, so I was standing somewhere right about here.
Okay. And where were your kids?
So we had, like I mentioned before, a group of 12 that were lined up. Kelsey would have been the furthest to the west, and I would approximate that the 12th child furthest to the east would have been somewhere in this direction, or location, excuse me.
And do you know approximately that would have been the location she would have been on the curb, meaning Kelsey, or would she have been off the curb, if you recall?
It's my recollection that she would have been off the curb. There was a lot of excitement with the children, and there was a police officer that would often push the children back to ensure that they were staying out of the direction of the parade. And so it's my recollection that they would have been on the street at that time.
Okay. And still using Exhibit 51, when you state that this red SUV was coming at your group, can you, and I don't know if you can you show the direction of travel using this exhibit?
Overruled. You may answer.
I would, the direction I would have, based on my recollection, was coming here, and again, right at our location. So coming here, and then would have come back this direction into the middle of the street.
Okay. So let's kind of go through that. When you first
Look
saw
at that.
the
That's
car,
an intent. Like, look at the X, then look at the line. That's like so fucking intentional. Like he drew it. Like, yeah, he came out this way to like hit her and then go back into the street. There's no reason to be swerving. If there's people everywhere, you're just driving straight. You know, get out of the parade as fast as possible. He was trying to hit people.
was it on? Can you show by an arrow using Exhibit 51? Can you show by arrow the? And I think you actually have the direction that the parade was going. You did with the arrow that you previously pointed. Is that
Yeah, the direction of the parade was coming in this direction here.
And where specifically was the car coming from? Was it coming from, as you're looking at the car, was it coming from the left side of the road or the right side of the road?
Witness.
Overruled.
The car was coming from the south side of Main Street. It had.
You're on the north side?
I'm on the north side
Okay.
by Steam and Cup, so it had passed the SUV on the south side and then came into our purview at that point, coming on a northwest direction towards us.
So the red SUV passed another SUV?
He literally said about 50 directions. So he was on the south side and the west side, and then the northwestern angle. Another person ran. Like, bro, you guys let me know if you understand. How would you even know like what direction people are in when they say that? Maybe I just don't know my directions like that from when somebody was like, yeah, he was on the south side of the building. I don't, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know where that is. You guys say, you know, in the red part of the building, the fucking green part, like, I don't know.
SUV?
That's correct. It had passed an SUV that had yet to come to our location. So I'm not exactly sure what unit that was in the parade. But as it passed that SUV, it came into my purview, and that's when I got sight of the vehicle.
So the SUV that the red SUV passed, the red SUV would have passed the other SUV on the driver's side.
That is correct.
Okay. If I could have a screen capture of this, I believe it would be 51B. And then,
It is captured. We'll save it as 51B.
I'd also ask,
Hold on. I'm sorry, was there an objection?
Yes.
The basis for the objection?
Relevancy.
It is relevant. 51B has been captured, and I believe you had a statement about it.
yes, I'd ask that be moved into evidence.
It is received. 51B.
Objection be noted for the record, Your Honor.
It already has been.
Yeah.
Yes, it will be noted.
Sir, continuing to look at 51, you had stated that the direction of travel then was towards the middle of Main Street. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Could you see what it was going towards?
So at the time of when that vehicle was coming towards our group, myself in particular, I saw the driver of that SUV coming right towards me, and then start making a little bit of that, I guess, turning up instead of the north.
There he goes with the directions again.
Turning more to the west. And at that time, my concern after looking at this vehicle was realizing that he was heading directly for our children. And as the vehicle passed myself and getting to the end of our group, which again, Kelsey was furthest on the west, And right next to Kelsey would have been a family friend, Brinley Harris. And I saw the vehicle strike my daughter. My daughter flew approximately 15 feet towards the middle of the intersection of Clinton and Main. So at that point, a fatherly instinct kicked in, and my sole focus was at my daughter at that point. So I did not have any contact, visual contact with the vehicle after that point.
So you said Kelsey flew approximately 15 feet?
Yeah, of course they said that again. She flew 15 fucking feet. That sounds not even real. Like 15 feet away, she got hit hard. 15 feet. Nah, that's pretty far. It picked her up and flew her.
Clinton Street?
In estimation,
Your objection is noted.
Already answered.
What was the objection?
That was already answered.
That's not my recollection, so it's overruled. I believe she was seeking clarification or additional details.
Could that be clarified? I mean, in the question?
No, go ahead and ask your question, Attorney Basie. Your objection's noted, it's overruled.
Is that a judicial determination, Your Honor?
Go ahead, Attorney Basie.
So what did you do upon seeing that?
so after seeing my daughter get hit as the vehicle was turning again into the parade route, noticing my daughter was hit by the front right side of the vehicle, and watching my daughter and where she ended up was my sole focus. I ran over to her to check on the condition she was in.
So you actually saw the red SUV's front right bumper strike your daughter?
That's correct.
Okay, and that's what caused her to be propelled into approximately 15 feet away?
That's correct.
What did you notice once you got to your daughter?
I noticed my daughter had a significant amount of blood on her face. She was conscious, but I would consider it a look of, now mind you, she's 3 years old, a look of just complete fear and misunderstanding, just not understanding what just occurred.
What did you do?
So I picked up my daughter, and not knowing exactly the situation that we were currently involved in, not knowing if there was another vehicle, just not really understanding the situation, I picked her up and I ran north on Clinton Street for about 10 yards. I stopped at that moment. I turned back towards Main Street to make eye contact with my wife and the rest of the group, to ensure that the rest of the group was safe, and just to get a bearing of where we were after making eye contact with my wife and asking the question, is everyone else safe? I proceeded to run with Kelsey in my arms. We were parked at Waukesha State Bank, which I grew up in Waukesha, so thankfully I'm very familiar with the surroundings in this general area, and I knew how close I was to the hospital.
He got straight on there, picked her up, and went straight to the hospital. No time wasted. That shit is crazy. Well, I mean, shit, some parents wouldn't even think to do that, to be honest. They would just start freaking out. He picked her up so fast. But yeah, I mean, he almost destroyed 2 families in one little corner. So I feel like the 7 life sentences were just kind of like symbolic to show, like, yeah, your spirits are never coming out of jail. Like, no part of you're gonna die there times 7.
With Kelsey, my brother-in-law caught up with me and came with me as we drove up to Waukesha Memorial Hospital and brought Kelsey into the hospital.
What injuries did Kelsey receive as a result of being struck by the red SUV?
So Kelsey received a tear in her spleen in this location.
And for the record, I just want to show that you pointed to the left side
Correct.
of,
Back left side of Kelsey.
okay.
She received a broken nose, significant road rash and cuts to her facial area, which one of them required some facial surgery.
Damn, a ruptured spleen. What the fuck? That shit. She's lucky she survived that, man. That's crazy. Flying 15 feet and still surviving. That's a story to tell when you grow up. To either your friends or your therapist, one or the other, because that shit is traumatic as hell.
Prior to the vehicle striking Kelsey, when you first saw the vehicle, did you hear it honking its horn?
I did not.
You stated that the vehicle was coming right at you. Were you able to see inside the vehicle?
I was.
How many people were inside that vehicle?
I could only see one person in the vehicle.
Presumably the driver?
Yes, it was on the driver's side, front driver's side.
Could you tell male or female?
Yes, it was a black male, and at the time, the eyes is what drew me in. Were completely wide open, and made eye contact with the individual driving the vehicle.
What the fuck? Remember that mugshot? I'm gonna throw it up. That it's an iconic Darrell Brooks mugshot. He's like in the picture. Imagine he was driving down Main Street like that. That's probably something. Anybody who made eye contact with him, they're gonna remember that face. That's not a face you really forget. It was his mugshot actually. His eyes were like.
So you looked eye to eye with the person who hit your daughter.
I did.
Did you see him in the courtroom today?
I do.
Can you point him out by where he's seated and what he's wearing?
He's
And
seated
I ask
in.
that Mr. Brooks take off his face mask.
Thank you, Mr. Brooks.
He is seated at the table, located over here. He's got a gray suit on, a blue shirt, and a tie.
Let the record reflect that witness has identified the defendant.
Ugly ass motherfucker.
Objection, I do not consent to being called that name, nor do I know any individual by that name, Your Honor.
The record will reflect that the witness has identified the defendant as the driver of the SUV that struck his daughter.
May my objection be noted for the record as well, Your Honor.
It's noted.
From your observations, you didn't see anyone else in the car, correct?
I did not.
Did the defendant, was he flailing his arms? Do you recall where his hands were?
I do not recall any hand movement. My main recollection is the face, specifically the eyes.
Did he appear to be in control of the car?
Yes.
Did the vehicle stop after hitting your daughter?
Hell no.
The vehicle did not stop after hitting my daughter, although, as I stated before, I do not have recollection of exactly where the vehicle went, other than getting back towards the center of Main Street.
As the car was coming towards your location, could you estimate the speed?
I have no way of estimating the exact speed, but I would say way too fast for the situation.
So you indicate that you were friends with Matt Harris and his family?
Objection, relevancy
Overruled.
to this particular witness.
Overruled. It goes to context and
Grounds.
background.
Grounds for that.
Context and background. It's also relevant. Go ahead, you may answer.
That's correct. We are.
And you say that Brindley was standing near Kelsey when Kelsey got hit?
Objection, relevancy.
Overruled.
Brindley was standing directly to Kelsey's left, to her east.
And did you see Brindley after November 21st?
Yes, I've seen Brindley after November 21st.
Shortly after November 21st of last year?
Objection, relevancy.
Overruled.
Yes.
Did she have any type of medical dressing on her at that time?
Objection, relevancy.
Overruled.
Grounds for that.
It's
Overruled.
relevant.
See, he doesn't want them to answer the simplest of questions. Was she fucked up or not? You know what I mean? It's easy. It's easy to ask the question and answer it if there's nothing to hide. Like, bro, it's like objection, object in front of the jury, looking hell. Like, imagine this in front of the jury, because there's certain parts where he's acting a fool, they're not there, but right now they're there, and they're watching this dumbass do this shit. Like,
Yes, she had a full cast on.
Thank you.
all right, you guys, that was pretty much it. Just wanted to catch up with you guys real quick. I love you guys. Appreciate y'all. Go check out the other episodes that are coming out later on today. Go check it out. And yeah, shout out my Patreon members. You guys are dope. We're going to drop another video up there soon. And yeah, go check out my Instagram also, AGTactical25 in the description. I'll see you guys later.